And I guess I wanted to copy his motion with the same way.
No.
So I stabbed myself in the stomach with a knife a little bit.
What the Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you've never seen my face before, my name's Ken and I love all things music, film, television, literature, and all things pop culture in general. So today we're going to be checking out another animated story. Now I know the other ones were trash, but today's video is going to be a little different because this one is a horror animated story by the YouTube channel Wansee Entertainment. Now, I personally used to watch this channel in my free time, so I trust their videos. I know I enjoy them, so I think this will be a better experience for all of us. No more Susans and Britneys. So how we're gonna do this reaction, we're gonna take one of the compilations and we're gonna split it into two parts because they're pretty long. So today we're gonna be watching 10 Horror Stories Animated Compilation of December 2020. So we're gonna watch 5 of these horror stories today, and then we'll check out the other 5 another time. Cool? Cool. Deal. So now before we get into the compilation, please be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Those are very important things to do here on YouTube, and it will help your boy out. You want my channel to grow, you want to see more of me, then click the buttons. Simple click. Now we can get into the video, so let's go. This is so exciting. I wish I had some popcorn or some candy here so we could snack. But really all I got is my water in my Evermore cup to my fellow Swifties, you know. Also wearing an Evermore shirt. So let's hope that we're about to get so scared we're gonna shit our pants, okay? Now is it really gonna happen? Probably not. But we can hope, okay? We just gotta be more entertained than we have been in the last few videos. By the way, go watch those if you haven't. Run those views up. Okay. Now for real, let's get into it.
I'm not much of a storyteller.
The Abandoned House Story animated.
During the 90s, I went through a very rough time in my life. After a failed marriage, I became a bit of a nomad, wandering across country on foot with no particular destination. It was a
Nomadland, just wanted to go to
It
Globes.
wasn't a very hopeless place back then.
I know where he's from.
And just looking to experience something new.
He sounds like he's dead inside.
South Dakota and
Reminds me of myself.
with a truck driver into Nebraska. For those of you who have never been to that state, there are large sections of land that go on for miles with nothing but cornfields lining either side of the road. We split ways at a rest stop, and I made my way into what I now know to be the Sand Hills of Nebraska. The Sand Hills region is one of the most isolated areas in the United States. 20,000 square miles.
Why does this
of
man
nothing
sound
but
like he's from like
dunes and
National
prairies.
Geographic?
I planned on hitchhiking my way to the nearest town and catching a bus to visit a friend I had in Omaha. But I found out the hard way that this stretch of road was not ideal for hitchhiking.
I don't know how y'all be out there hitchhiking. I could never. I don't trust people like that.
12 hours had passed, and I was running low on food and water. I was utterly exhausted at this point, and I needed to find a place to rest for a while. I had about an hour left of daylight. Lucky for me, I happened to come upon an old farmhouse that was situated about a half mile away from the main road. From a distance, I thought this place may have been occupied, but when I got closer, it was clear to me that this house was abandoned. This was around the fall, so weather in Nebraska wasn't terrible. However, the nights were a bit on the cold side, so I decided to hold up in this house for the night and continue my
Boy,
journey
whatever
the next
comes
day.
to you, you had it coming. Nobody told you to go into that house. You did it to yourself.
The house was your typical rotting husk. Smelled like mold, severe water damage, creaking floors, etc. The living room seemed to be the only decent place to settle down at, so I unpacked my sleeping bag and eventually dozed off.
If you don't own the house, do not go inside. What?
I woke up to the sound of
Hell
floors
nah.
creaking.
My
I
ass would have been
moved
out of there by
and
now.
Listened. I could hear several pairs of footsteps thudding all around the house. They were coming from upstairs, downstairs, on the back porch outside, and even in the same room with me. But I didn't see a thing. I quickly got to my feet and walked over to the nearest window and peered out. What I saw was truly alarming and sent a wave of nausea through my entire body. Several cloaked figures were standing side by side. They appeared to be encircling the house.
Mm-mm.
Because of the footsteps I heard.
Man,
I
God
thought there
bless
may have
you.
been
God
people in
bless
the
you.
house
Get the
with
fuck
me.
out.
So, in an effort to diffuse things, I made another big brain decision and spoke up. Hello? I'm sorry if I'm trespassing. I was just looking for a place to rest for the night. I thought this place was abandoned. Again, I'm sorry. All the footsteps
Me and him are
stopped
matching.
at once. An eerie silence
I don't like that. I
followed.
want to be matching with this
It
guy.
was so quiet that I could have heard a mouse shitting in the corner. I got this real bad feeling in my gut, so I reached into my backpack and pulled out my hunting knife. I gathered
That's
the rest of
right,
my things and slowly moved out into the hallway. Aside from the mysterious figures outside, I was also thinking of what was making those footsteps inside the house. As I said, I heard several footsteps when I woke up, so I figured it wouldn't be long before I ran into someone inside the house. But after combing the entire downstairs, I didn't see or hear anything. I could tell something was very off.
I do
That
not
bad
like
feeling
this
I mentioned
music.
earlier intensified, despite the fact that I knew there was a bunch of weirdos in cloaks waiting for me outside. Something told me that if I didn't leave the house that very moment, something terrible was going to happen to me. The house was located in a wide open clearing. Beyond the clearing was a barrier of tall grass. When I left through the front door, I stopped directly in front of the house. No matter which direction I looked, I saw another hooded menace blocking my way. I suddenly felt this heat on my back.
Just keep running. Just keep running. Just keep running.
I cannot explain how this happened. Moments before, I was inside that house, walking around, and it was now on fire. I backed away. I decided I was going to run through the figures and get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, you are.
But when I turned back around,
They're not there.
the figures were nowhere in sight. Things were getting way too bizarre for me at that point. The only thing I knew for sure was that I had to get the fuck out of that place.
Get the fuck out,
When I
man.
got back out to the main road, I didn't stop walking until I finally got to a town whose name
As
I
you
can't
should.
remember. The rest of my time in Nebraska went well, and I got my life together shortly after I got back home from my trip. As long as I live, I'll never forget that old farmhouse and those mysterious
Speaking of that,
figures.
For any of you
This
guys who
incident
have
still
ever gone
baffles
through a
me to
crazy
this
experience
day.
like this,
But perhaps some things are
how
best
do you
left
continue living after
unanswered.
that? Like, if I went through that, it just, I could never be alone after that. I would just be terrified my whole life.
Have you experienced this before?
I don't even know what this is called, but
Of course, I can tell you that I'm a very normal person.
you don't look normal.
However, I felt like I'm a psychopath when I was very young. Whenever I talk about this, it feels like I'm talking about someone else, but it's definitely my memory. Let me tell you some of my childhood memories.
Girl, you scaring me, and so are your eyes.
I'm going to start my first story lightly. My mom said that when I was young, I would often pick up a few worms from the ground, bring them home,
She looked like
and
Jimmy
divide them into
Neutron.
a few pieces with a shovel. Secondly, I dimly remember it, but after fighting with my sister, I always couldn't hold back my anger. So I used to walk around with a blade cutter to make a rattling sound. putting
Bro,
my
what the-
blade up and down. My third story is, just when I learned walking around, I happily went to greet my second sister, bringing a knife when she came home. That's what my mom said to me too. She said I especially liked knives when I was young, and I don't know why. The fourth story, one day my mom went to the bathroom to take a shower, leaving me alone in the living room. As I was a little child back then, I was watching TV, and there was a scene about a doctor who was doing surgery. And I guess I wanted to copy his motion with the same way.
No.
So I stabbed myself in the stomach with a knife a little bit.
What the
My mom
fuck?
came out of the bathroom at the same time, and of course she was very surprised, even shocked. She took me to the emergency room that day.
Why are you
I had a
smiling?
slight surgical scar on my stomach until when I was in elementary school, so that can be a proof that it's a literally true story. The fifth, I recently found an album in the wardrobe a few days ago.
Oh,
Pictures were made
hell
about me and my
no.
mom. However, some of my mom's pictures in the album were kind of weird. It's like her eyes were cut out as someone had purposely pierced it. "Hey Mom, what's wrong with these pictures?" I asked her. And she answered, "When you were a kid, you would always get angry and pierce my eyes on every picture of me whenever you argued with me."
Bitch.
My mom in those pictures was
That ain't
smiling
my
at me
kid.
when
That
she
ain't
was
my
younger,
kid. If my
but
kid
I
get
really
that, pack them up.
enjoyed them.
We're done. We're
I
done.
felt really sorry. When I wrote down
Go to
my
grandma's
thoughts,
house for the
I
weekend.
thought
We
I
ain't
was
doing that.
crazy or something, seriously. But when I was talking with my mom about the past, I didn't.
This girl's legit psychotic. Bro. She stabbed herself. She cut her mom's eyes out of pictures. And she don't remember any of this? No. No, honey. Honey, I don't trust you. I'm sorry. You need to go.
Believe that I did it. And finally, the last story is the main point of why I had to write this. Because this is the one that only I remember, and which is that my mom will never know.
Girl, why your
I
body
still
so
don't know
slant?
why.
Oh, that's her hair, you know. I'm so sorry.
Anyway,
Dora!
elementary school at the time. One day around 3 p.m., my mom came back from work and fell asleep on the couch. And like a psycho in a thriller movie, I grabbed a big knife in the kitchen and slowly approached my mom. I went right in front of her and just stood there, staring at her for a long time. At this time, I felt like it was me doing this, but on the other hand, it was not me. Then I remember that she twisted a little, as if she was going to wake up. And being
Is she
surprised,
possessed?
I put the knife back in place. This story is a secret that I can never tell my mom, no matter how much time goes by.
Bitch, you just told her right now.
Goosebumps, huh? But there's something even more creepy. Not long ago, my mom told me about her childhood story with her grandmother. And turned out she once stood behind my grandma's back holding a knife when she was a little kid, like me. But when grandma turned around and asked my mom what she was holding there, she finally recovered her consciousness and she put the knife back in the kitchen. You see, it's a very similar story to mine. Of course, she never knows what I did that day. She just told me her story accidentally.
How did she tell you that
Don't think it's
accidentally?
creepy? I'm just wondering if the psychopath's temperament is the reason of genetics influence.
What is wrong with your family, girl? Get them out of here. I ain't trusting them. The reason I hate insects. Let's go. I hate them too, girl.
I never had a problem with insects. However,
Now you know you gotta fix that
spiders were
fucking
the
hair.
only exception because I was
Looking
bitten
like the
by one
abominable
a few
snowman,
years
girl.
ago. So
I don't know who cut your shit, but you got a whole bunch of zigzags in there. Little lightning bolts striking in your hair. The spider got better hair than you.
this is what happened to me. I was only 12 years old at the time. That day, we had a small party at school.
You 12-year-old and
where
got your hair
everyone
fucked
had
up
to
like
bring
that?
something to eat. I went to the big table where the others had already put everything in place.
And why your hair so
After I
damn
found
white?
an empty seat, I took my small
Girl, nothing about your hair is
container
normal. I
out of
cannot
my
get over it.
backpack, but I froze as soon as I opened it. There were only insects left inside, and I could see some of the bugs falling on my legs and on both of my shoes.
That's
Everyone
disgusting.
was staring at me.
Yeah, I'll be
in
staring at you
complete
too.
Silence. Especially my teacher, who was even more terrified. She asked me how long the food had been in the container.
No.
Of course, I explained to her that I had only wrapped it this morning, but
No.
I was literally able to see all the insects moving around.
My ass would not be
inside
sitting
the
there staring at
container.
her. My ass would have been in the fucking
Besides,
corner crying.
This situation in front of my classmates was incredibly uncomfortable for me. It was embarrassing. That's why I ran to the restroom, trying to get rid of the insects. It was during the winter
Whew,
season,
I would have not carried that.
so
Would have been
when I
like,
headed
Miss
home,
Teacher,
it was
you take
already
this
dark
out. You the
outside.
adult.
After that terrible incident, I was walking along the usual route in a depressed mood, and suddenly, I heard rustling behind me. I stopped and looked around, but I couldn't see anything that could make that sound. Oh, well, it's probably just my imagination. However, as I continued to walk, I saw a middle-aged man with a disgusting face and greasy
Hell no.
hair staring
Hell
in front
no.
of me. "What are you doing out here all alone so late, young lady?" he asked me with a
What's
deep,
wrong with your
low
fucking
voice,
teeth?
And I replied that I was just on my way home. Wow, nervous. None of my neighbors were there at the time. I froze and couldn't move a single muscle when he asked me if I was hungry. I know, I was such a fool. I answered yes.
Are you dumb?
Then he offered me some
You
of
are
his food,
12.
but I turned it down at first. I was only
At
thinking
first?
about what I should do at that moment and how I could escape from the horrible situation.
Are there bugs in there?
But when he opened his container, I couldn't believe my eyes. A horrible smell got into my nose,
Bitch,
and I
run.
saw it.
Bitch,
The
run.
bugs. A crowd of insects flew in my face with a deafening loud sound. In horror, I screamed and fell to my back on the road. My arm must
Val,
have been
run! What are you
but I didn't
doing?
have any time to feel my injury. When my gaze slowly went upwards, this weird man slowly took a bug and he ate it. As soon as I saw this very sight, I felt like I was going to throw up at any moment. All of a sudden, something started crawling up my leg, and there were spiders all over it.
Those are fucking
Being
tarantulas.
extremely
Go,
terrified,
go,
I jumped
go.
up immediately and ran as quickly as I could.
Y'all, I don't like
Fortunately,
bugs.
he didn't follow me, and I never saw that man again around my town. But the insect phobia has remained. I didn't tell my family about that incident because they wouldn't believe me anyway. Every time I see insects, the thought of him comes back to me. Even a ladybug scares me now. Nevertheless, there is a question that never leaves my head.
You still didn't fix your
If
hair,
I
you
had
grew up and
failed
still
to
didn't fix
run
that
away
fucking
that
shit.
day, what would the man have tried to do with me?
Maybe if you had your hair right, he wouldn't have done that. First of all, how did he even start? Like, 3 short scary stories. Okay, but Miss Girl Who Don't Do Her
Moved
Hair.
into an apartment a few years ago.
How did you get the bugs in there from the beginning?
Our new house seemed.
I don't believe in this
and
coincidence.
it was still chilly. In the
You
middle
just
of
met a
summer.
man who had bugs in his lunchbox
And
too?
after moving into the house, my family
Girl.
conspicuously began to act a little strange. One day, my parents were in the living room, sitting and watching TV, and something was weird. My dad was laughing with his eyes and mouth wide open, ha ha ha, laughing like this, and my mom was giggling like crazy. However, I was very young at that time, so I would often copy
No.
that figure, thinking that was kind of play for adults. And another day, they would have a conversation lying down at the kitchen table. Should we go now? No, later. No, we should go now. Something like this.
Your parents are fucking
I
psychotic.
began to
Run.
get scared and decided to try some sort of exercising spells that were popular in my elementary school at the time. It was a way to shout, "Go away, you lala," 3 times before going to bed. I know it's kind of childish, but anyway, it was one night after
Oh,
I did
man,
this
it tingles.
4 times. I was about to sleep, and as soon as I lay down after turning off the lights, my parents came into my room. I felt something was not good, and being scared.
They got a knife, don't
I
they?
was
They got a
in
knife,
bed,
don't they?
covering my face. And they sat next to my bed, one by one. Dad sat in that narrow gap between the bed and the balcony door and whispered in my ear, "What was that? Why did you do that?" He kept whispering the same thing, and I had no choice but
Are
to
your parents
pretend to be
always like
asleep
this,
with
bro,
fear.
or just as that night?
Long
Cause
after I heard the door
go to
open,
grandma's house.
and when I opened my eyes to see if my parents had left, there was my mother. She was kneeling on my desk and smiling widely at me.
Taylor, save me.
Screaming, I ran out of the house on that road, fainted after a long run on the road, and was eventually found by the police passing by. After that, we had received help from our relatives and moved to a new apartment. One day, I had a nightmare while I was sleeping.
What does that have to do? Wait.
Just
What do you
realizing
mean you
that
got
I
help
had
from your
sleep
relatives?
paralysis. I squeezed my voice
So you mean
and
they
called
left
my
you with your
wife,
fucking psychotic parents?
and she immediately ran from my side. "Honey, are you okay?"
What's
I
wrong with her
replied to
eyes?
her, Take my hand." However, the left door opened suddenly, and I could see my wife was running toward me at that moment. She held my hand, asking if I was okay, and I felt a moment of anxiety, so I turned my head to the right with all my might. The woman who ran at me at first, she was not my wife, of course. She was looking at me, dancing strangely on the street, looking beside me as if she got too excited.
What the
My
fuck
wife
wrong with
soon
her?
turned on the lights.
Oh no.
As soon as the lights came on, she disappeared.
No.
Who was that woman? The woman in front of my window.
That's it. That's it. Nah.
It was the middle of the night. I was choosing my clothes for the next day's appointment. After picking out some of my clothes, I was looking at the mirror with them and suddenly heard a sound from the window. It was like someone clicked their tongue.
I like your hair, girl.
When I looked at the window, there was a woman laughing with her face pressed down on the screen. I walked back in
What's
fear,
wrong with
quickly
everybody in
turned
there
off the
laughing
light.
in this?
Then I woke
Stories.
up my dad, who was sleeping at that time. However, when we came back to the room, the woman was already gone. What's even scarier was that our house had its own yard, and it was on the other side of the houses in town. How did she get into our house and stand in front of my window? Whether she was a human or a ghost, I still have no idea who she was.
Mama, you need to fix your face. Creepy abandoned
It
hospital.
happened 3 years ago. On Saturday afternoon, I was hanging out with my friends, Austin, Vincent, Charlie, and Bobby, while my parents were gone for the weekend. We were playing Battlefield 1 at Austin's house, chilling and having a good time. A couple of hours later, we got bored and had nothing to do. So we went for a walk on the boardwalk, talking about what our plans are going to be for the summer. Vincent said he'll be going to Los Angeles with his family for a month.
That's good for you.
Charlie will be in Arizona for 2 weeks. For Bobby, he'll be in London for a month. I was
Fancy.
going to Ocean City for a week. After we had a small chat, Austin asked me
Y'all all
if we
going
could go to
away.
the abandoned hospital
Yes.
after.
Have fun this summer.
Being frightened, I was thinking that it wouldn't be a good idea to go there. However, I didn't want them to think of me as a chicken. So I
Man, fuck what they think of
decided
you.
to go there. And so did my friends.
Trust your gut. You gotta
The
trust your
outside was getting
intuition.
dark. We got into my truck and drove almost an hour to reach.
Self promo. We love to see it.
When we finally got there, I parked my truck right just next to the entrance, in case anything happens while we're checking out the hospital. We slowly got inside the hospital. The hallways and other rooms were empty. At first, I thought it was a little bit creepy and chilly inside. About 20 minutes later, walking around, we suddenly heard something that made our hearts drop. It was the sound of a girl screaming, saying, "Help! Somebody help me!" Then I heard some guy saying, "Shut your mouth," with a rough voice. We decided to follow the sound. When we went all the way up the stairs and got there,
I mean,
the
look.
dim light.
At least it's like a group of them, so it's like y'all could take on this man.
Not to move a muscle,
If I was
slowly
alone
approaching
doing that, honey,
into the room.
I would want to save you,
And what I
but
saw was just unbelievable. A girl was taped around her legs, arms behind her back, and even her mouth now. I quietly told my friends to come to the room. I didn't see the other guy, so we quickly approached her, releasing the tape around her. "Thank you, guys," she said. "What's your name and what happened?" I asked her, and she replied, "My name is Hannah. I was kidnapped by
Okay,
a
we don't
man
have time
3
for all of
weeks
this
ago while I
story.
was
Get
coming home
out."
from college." Then I asked again, "Well, what does he look like?" "I think he's mid-40s. He has black hair and he's chubby looking." She replied,
Girl, you gotta
back,
get
and after
out.
She gave me the details. We decided to help her escape and get back to my truck. However, we saw a movement suddenly coming from the stairway with the lighting candle. Fortunately, we found an empty, dark room at that moment and hid there. And not long after, I could see a figure wearing a flannel shirt, jeans, boots, and came into the room. He was holding a big machete. I was positive that creepy man was the one Hannah was talking about.
No shit.
After the man passed the room where we were hiding, we got out of the room quietly without making a sound as possible as we could. We were about to get to the exit. All of a sudden, a loud scream was heard from upstairs. "You! Where the heck are you? I'm going to kill you." My heart pounded so hard.
Well, they helped this girl out, so it's good that they ended up going to the hospital. Still trust your intuition, but at least you got to help somebody this time.
Back of my truck, and then I quickly started the engine. As I started the engine, Austin gave a big shriek. "Holy shit, Matt! Get the heck out of here right now!" I then looked behind us, and there he was. The guy was chasing after us with his big machete in his hand, and I quickly drove off. While one of my friends called the police, we pulled up at the gas station waiting for the cops.
That should just run him over and get it over with.
They arrived in about 10 minutes. We told them exactly what happened tonight, and after we informed them where the hospital was, they went over to investigate the case.
Y'all better find him.
They eventually caught the man.
Yep.
He was taken into custody.
Now, I don't know why he just stood there.
Charged with kidnapping and attempted murder. After the police took him away, they told us they'd been searching for this man for 5 years. They also told us that he had prior convictions from the past of raping women and other kidnapping charges. And the poor Hannah. The ambulance took her to the hospital, and then we all came back to our house. After that day, we decided to never go to such places like that again. I still can't stop thinking about what would have happened if we failed to escape. Also, what would have happened to Hannah if we didn't show up? We all might be dead.
You
I'll
probably
never forget that night.
You would have been dead. I can guarantee you that. Okay, so we're gonna stop here for today. We went through 5 stories. Technically, we had 3 mini ones, so what's the math on that? We really did like 7 or 8. That was fun. That was way better than those other animated shits we've been doing. This I could fuck with. We definitely have to do more of these in the future. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you want to see more horror animated stories? Do you want to see more of the trash ones? Are there any other channels you want me to check out? Any other things you guys want me to react to? Be sure to let me know about all of that down in the comments below. Now, my favorite one that we just went through today, I liked all of them, but specifically the one with the girl, where the man was sleeping and his wife came to hold his hand, and then when he turned around, the other lady was just going like, that took me out. That shit took me out. Nah. Like, why? Why was that lady even, who was that lady? What was she doing there? And why was, nah. So I have a lot of other videos I need to make this week and next week. So it might be the week after. So 2 weeks from now, we might be able to get to part 2 of this video. So before we go, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share this video if you enjoyed it, as well as turn on those post notification bells so you can get notified whenever I upload, because all of these things are very helpful. It'll help me grow my channel, and I would highly, highly appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Have a good day, and peace out.